you're in that circle now, right? You're
Yeah.
going to X-Ray's studio. You got Rodan there. You talked about how he chopped up some stuff for the other album. Take
Yeah.
me through it. What's happening next after that? What's the relationship like moving forward?
Oh man. So I love it was just a vibe. X-Ray's crib was always a vibe. You know what I'm saying? It almost felt like whatever's going out on the street, like you go there and it becomes like Switzerland,
Uh-huh.
where it's mad chill. Everybody's chill. Cats would roll up. I didn't smoke. But cats would roll up and I would just be in the vibe watching like Megalon, you know what I'm saying? Like the legend, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then Ray Long was like, a younger brother to Megalon, you know what I'm saying? And Ray Long is another one, and it's again all these personalities. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, Rodan didn't have the artwork yet. And he's explaining to me the concept. And I was like, yo, I know how to draw. He was like, word? And I'm like, yeah, pencil and paper right now. Word. Gave me the pencil and paper. I drew the Rodan Jedi figure, which features on the cover of Theophany. I drew it in X-Ray's crib on the couch. Like, as he's playing beats and everybody's doing whatever, Rodan's coming to check like every 2 minutes. I'm like, yo, I'll show you when I'm done. Like, normally I don't like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
knock it out. And I'm like, and he's like, bro, this is exactly what you know what I mean? Like I meshed the giant pterodactyl with a Jedi character. And that's what he wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like,
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Emcee 73 TV. It is me, Uncle E. Thank you for taking the time and joining us. If you could do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and like I always say, leave me a comment, whether good or bad. I appreciate you taking the time to do so. Man, I'm really excited and happy that this interview that we're about to have finally is going to take place now. I'm going to share a quick story because it was kind of funny to me how I met the brother. So we're sitting at a table at a gathering that we'll talk about a little bit further in the interview. And, we're having a conversation. There's a couple of other people at the table. This brother keeps mentioning names that I'm just like wondering, how does he know these people that I know, but I had never really seen them before? So there was one person that he mentioned that I was just like, all right, hold on. I said, yo, do me a favor. Can you please introduce yourself again to me? And he says his name, and I know the name, and I think I told you this. I'm like, man, I always knew the name. I heard the name, but I never knew the face to that name. My ignorance, but I was so happy to have met him and be able to put the face to the name that I always heard floating around, because we have a lot of people in common that we know. So with all of that, I want to introduce and have the pleasure to say, MeccaGodzilla, thank you for taking the time, man. I really appreciate you. How's everything going?
yo, love and light E, all is good, man. It was an honor to meet you. And
Thank you.
yeah,
Same,
I'm happy where it
likewise.
went. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you, bro.
So I will say, poet, MC, producer, visual artist. I like to just say you're just a hip hop ambassador, a representative of the culture to the fullest. Uh, so do me a favor. Can you let everybody know a little bit about yourself as far as where you were born and raised, and then we'll bring it up to date to what's happening in 2025.
Yeah, man. I was born in Brooklyn, Jewish, raised in Long Island. My parents moved us out to Freeport, Strong Island when I was really young. Went to school in Long Island, and in parallel on weekends, I would go to Brooklyn. My dad would go play ball, and I would go train in the dojo in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn, 55 Flatbush. So yeah, man. Again, born in Brooklyn, raised in Long Island. Had the best of both worlds growing up. And yeah, man, I'm an MC, music producer, visual artist, and yeah, man, just light warrior overall, bro. You know what I mean?
Yes. So tell me, how was the experience for you growing up between Brooklyn and Long Island? as far as hip hop, what was the scene like? What were you experiencing?
Man, that's a good one. So on the weekends, what I loved, especially downtown, like you're getting access to the music that didn't necessarily hit the island yet. You know what
Right,
I'm
right,
saying?
right, right.
Um, and then like I'll be square around there. I would go over there after the dojo to get a fish sandwich with my dad most weekends, you know what I'm saying? And you're
Okay.
getting exposed to what you see in the fashion, everything. And then going back to Strong Island, like my parents had to work nights. Um, my dad worked nights. My parents worked really hard, so we needed a caretaker. So
Mhm.
at the babysitter's crib, her son was going into junior high school. And this gentleman's name is Aja. Aja used to bring home the cardboard boxes, taught us our first bubble letter style when I was like 4 years old, taught us how
Oh
to
wow.
six step, all of
Nice,
that. You know what I'm
nice,
saying?
nice.
So, yeah, we was getting it from everywhere. You know what I mean? So
Okay, so you were pretty much exposed to all the different elements at a very young age.
yeah, yes, particularly dance and writing, like graph. You know what I'm saying?
Graph. Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's what kind of caught your attention the most.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. In parallel to that, unbeknownst to me, like once I got older, my dad was cleaning the number 7 train.
Oh,
He was cleaning the number 7 train throughout the 80s, bro.
oh
So
wow.
like all of the greatest stuff that was going up, my dad was had to clean it. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
So
right.
what
So
I love
so we could say kind of basically trying to keep it clean, right? Because if that was during the 80s, that was a tough task, man.
yeah.
Man, word.
Yeah, he was trying, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, and I think I fell in love with that because, sometimes he would tell me stories about what's happening, but
Mhm.
he would bring home these comic books too. So that's even like more of a visual artist connect is
Okay.
I was doing my thing and then my dad worked nights. I would wake up and there would be comic books on the kitchen table. And these are books that he found on the train from young ones that are reading that and writing, you know what I'm saying,
Wow.
on the train. So yeah, man, I got a lot of comic books just off of that, man. So
Do you
yeah,
still?
between graph and comic books, that got me into like drawing a lot and the bubble letters at the babysitter's crib. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. You still have a lot of the comics or not?
all of them, all of them. Yeah.
Really? Wow. From like back then?
Yeah, yeah, yes,
Wow.
yeah,
You're gonna have to we might have to do a little separate segment where you can maybe show some of those off, man. I
yeah. I
know
will.
I'm
I'm
heavy and
happy
I
to.
got comics all over the place. I got some sitting right next to me. Uh,
Yeah.
nice, nice. So did you at what point did you pick up like, did you try to experiment with the graph or drawing, or art in general? At what point was that?
Mhm. Yo, so again, like we got exposed at the babysitter's crib, and
Mhm.
I think the creativity was encouraged. Like we were limitless. We were always encouraged to just do. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I remember, I would just come home from the babysitter, and I would always ask my dad either give me some math or give me a pen and paper. I want to draw. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So that was my whole steez every day. I got my 10,000 hours in early. I was
Nice.
drawing every single day, everything that
Nice.
was in my head, trying to recreate comic books. I still got those too. You know what I mean? Like,
Really?
yeah,
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, real quick before we continue, man, I have to ask you, can you show that ring you have on?
Oh yeah, it's the MeccaGodzilla ring. I don't know if it's backwards on your camera, but
Right, right, right,
yeah,
right.
MeccaGodzilla, MeccaGodzilla in Japanese. You know what I mean?
Did you make that yourself?
I drew it and my friend cut it. She
Okay,
used to work at Goodwood NYC and she cut all these like wood pieces. Some of them got real popular about
right.
10 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, man, she cuts this for me, you know?
I keep seeing it, man, and you know something, it reminds me a lot of our brother Sub Rock, DJ Sub Rock. He had
Right.
made a ring that says Sub Rock, and was it a I think it was a four finger.
Wow.
I think it was. Don't quote me on that. That's a long time ago, but he had a Sub Rock, and it's just like I
Wow.
see that on you, man, and it really reminds me a lot of that, man. That's dope, though.
Wow. Rest
I'm
in
sorry, I didn't
peace,
mean to cut
Subroc.
you off, but I wanted to check that out. Um,
Nah, it's all good.
so
Yeah.
you're into the art. How does that translate as far as in school? What are your interests? Are you taking art classes in school?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. So yeah, I think when it came to painting, I was
Hmm.
very elementary, but
Okay.
when it came to pen and paper, I became like top 3 in my all the time. It was arguable who was better, me, Eduardo, or Tavis. Like always art battling. But then, like by age 11, my art teacher, Miss Rosenstock, I'll never forget it. Atkinson and Freeport School. She's like, she kept seeing me draw all day. I would finish all my schoolwork early so I could just draw. And she's like, I think you need private lessons. She
Mm.
gave me the phone number to Judy Almer in Oceanside. Judy was on Hanna-Barbera's team animating McGilla-Gorilla, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, nice,
So
nice.
I got over there and I would go once a week and she taught me pastels, oil, ink, all of the mediums you could think of, man. So my skills went like this
At a-
by 16, I was like insanely nice, you know what I mean? So
Okay. So what was there any particular, like, were you into portraits? Were you into lettering? Like, what was one of your main styles as far as what you were doing at that time?
wow. I don't want to say that I'm like multifaceted, many styles, but like,
Hey,
um,
it is what it is, man.
yeah, I basically portraits are a weakness for me. Everything
Okay.
else, animal portraits are
Hmm.
easy. Human portraits are very difficult for me. I
Okay.
literally have to turn the portrait upside down and draw it that way. It's just the wiring, you know what I mean? Everything else from comics to abstract, I could do it. You know what I'm saying? Just
Okay.
human portraits, I got to go upside down. Then I could draw, you know?
Hold on though. What do you mean? So, what do you mean? Like it has to go upside down? Like, so in other words, if you're looking at a portrait of a face of a human,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
turn it upside down.
Yeah. That's the only way I could see it. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting though. Did you ever figure out like why? Like what? No,
Nah,
that's
it's
interesting.
just, you know how like we all got our thing?
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, it's nothing
That's
wrong with
what
it. It's yo. I find that to be actually amazing because you're saying it's difficult for you, but I'm like, how much more difficult could it be? Look,
right.
you know what I'm saying? That's really dope. That's crazy. That's ill though, man. That's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope.
Thank
So
you.
around that time, do you have an idea as far as what it is that you would like to do? Like, were you strictly thinking, I'm going to do something? Maybe you didn't know exactly what, but it was going to be in the art. Like, was
Yeah.
music playing a part at that
Mm,
time?
that's dope. Oh man, great question. All right. So uh in Freeport, we had like separate elementary schools. And when we came together at a bigger school, Atkinson, it was all these different schools, the north side, the south side,
Okay.
everybody coming together, right? So John Adams
Is
taught
that
me
the
how to,
high school?
it was still like just below junior high school, you know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
okay, okay.
So as I'm doing my thing as like an art connoisseur, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And like growing, John Adams taught me how to dance and he put me on to like Big Daddy Kane and Kool Moe Dee, etc. You know what I'm saying? So yo, I was getting like all of the dance styles from John and we were hitting up our little parties and whatnot, trying to get into little house parties on my own. And then once we got to like junior high, etc., art was like dominant for me. But I got really good in school, you know what I'm saying? Like B plus A student, and I was just trying to figure the world out. Like, what is
Mhm.
it? In addition, I'm an athlete. You know what I'm saying? I
Okay.
played ball really well, ran track and field. Like, it's just like when I got lucky. When you have people that are just like you're limitless, then you
Mhm.
just really go for it. You go for everything. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And try to stay out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was a lot going on, and just trying to figure out where to go. But art was always dominant for me. Art and
Okay.
sport, you know what I mean?
Okay. So
And
the
hip
art,
hop.
right, right, right. So everything is kind of happening at the same simultaneously at the same time.
Yeah,
Um, so at what point now does picking up the pen, not for the art aspect of it, but for writing? Like as
that's
far as
good.
was it
Yeah,
poetry that struck first, or were you strictly just fascinated by the rhymes as far as music?
that's a good one, man. What happened was art back then. I graduated in '96, right? So
Okay.
back then there was no like computer graphic courses, graphic design did not exist as a major. So my guidance
Right.
counselor sent me to electrical engineering school, and it was difficult. I'm
Yeah.
smart, but it just didn't resonate with me. Like the nerds in there were different from the nerd like me. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
nerds in
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
yo,
Yeah.
it was bad, bro.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
some of them are nonverbal and like aggressive, and I'm like, bro, I will punch you right in your shit. Like, what's the fuck? Like, yo, it's wild. So after
Oh,
like
man.
a year and a half, I realized like engineering wasn't for me, and graphic design didn't really exist, man. So it was kind of um can you just rephrase the question? Because I'm gonna answer it
No, no,
again.
it's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just I was just curious as far as
Oh,
when
when I
you
picked up the pen, right?
and as
Yeah.
far as like the interest into, I want to know,
Yep.
was it poetry? Was it rhyming? What kind of hit you first? And then I just
Out
wanted to
of
put that together as far as
yeah.
the art and everything.
Out of depression in engineering school, I started writing poetry and like physics and calculus classes. Cause I was just like, I don't like this shit. And like
Okay.
I don't see a future in it. Not for me,
Right.
And sadly, some of my classmates, when you're going through physics and chemistry, thermodynamics, and like differential equations and all calculus,
Right, right,
like
right.
these are the dudes that are building stuff in the future, and these motherfuckers were cheating. You know what I mean? And I'm
Mhm.
like, bro, you're not learning shit. Like, I'd rather get the C minus or the D and come back and get a B than
Right.
not learn the material. You know what I'm saying? Because this
Mhm.
is like you can't mess around with science. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna
Right,
hurt
right.
somebody later. So
Right.
out of all of that, I was like, yo, in the margins of my books, just writing like little. It wasn't raps, but it was all like spoken word poetry. You know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, I'll leave it at there. That
So,
in
so
college, I was going for it.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So but that just came to you kind of naturally, or was it something that sort of inspired you to write poetry,
I
or was it
think
just your thoughts?
I think my heroes, Big Daddy Kane, Chuck D, Kumo D,
Mm-hmm.
LL, Q-Tip, Mob, Wu, like
Mm-hmm.
you're listening to all at that time. This was college was 96 to 98. And this
Okay.
was like that run of the 90s of hip hop was you already know, bro. Like
Yeah, yeah, of
for the
course.
folks that were too young, it was straight up magic, yo.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and it was very inspirational, and then of course you're getting exposed to like Killer Priest and Killer Bees, you know what I'm saying? The Prodigal Son, like it inspires you like, yo, like the Killer Bee cats are dope too. Like they
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
inspire
yeah.
me to just want to do my little thing, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not raps, even though I love rap, but like I just started writing
Just writing down.
whatever whatever came.
Right, right. So you took Brooklyn, Freeport, Long Island. Um, can you talk? So were you very, very young by the time you moved from Brooklyn to Freeport?
Yeah, I was 3,
Oh, okay,
and then
okay.
from there, when my parents had to work, I would either stay at my grandmother's house on Saturdays in like Prospect Heights, which is, you know, um, off of Washington.
Okay,
You know
okay.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would stay there, or I would just go back and forth with my dad, and I was always going to the dojo or at my grandma's crib. You know what I'm
Did,
saying?
did you find it very how was it for you being in Brooklyn at some points and then life on Long Island? Was it a huge difference in contrast to, or was it? Because I mean, I know Freeport, and it might not look the same as Brooklyn, but they get down the same as Brooklyn in a lot of parts of Freeport.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you navigating between the two?
Nah, I
You know?
think my dad. I just have such a unique experience. I just gotta say this, man. I'm like beyond grateful. My parents went through so much, and I feel like I got lucky and hit like a generational lottery. You know what I'm saying? As
Mhm,
far as them going through massive traumas
mhm.
to like now I could afford the opportunity to really have them protecting and guiding my experience. I gotta be bluntly honest about that. My parents went through hell, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and even in my adulthood, they've gone through it, you know what I'm saying? But it's like they're those two, literally protected me from like whatever karmic debt was coming.
Yeah.
They weathered it. You know what I'm saying? I got so many stories. My dad is from Marcy Projects and then grew up, you know, in other parts of Brooklyn, but that's their start. So that edge, that hard knock Brooklyn edge, you know what I'm saying? Like my dad is that. My
Gotcha.
dad is a hard rock, you know what I mean? So he made me feel invincible. So going back and forth between Freeport and Brooklyn, like um I was on a wave with him mostly, you know what I'm saying? He was exposing and sharing me stuff, and I would see stuff in Brooklyn that was just a little bit more ahead than what's out in Long Island and vice versa. And I'll finish the point with this. I still remember, when they were laying the cable down when Brooklyn didn't have cable, you know what I'm saying? And I remember Queens and Long Island had it first, you know what I'm saying? I still
Yeah,
remember
that's
they
crazy.
had to physically lay down the
The
cable.
cables, right. Wow.
What? You
Yeah.
know?
Who's even thought about that? Dang, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All
Yeah.
right, so let's get back. So you're writing your, poetry. You can't stand your engineering classes and stuff. Where do you go from there?
Yo, I leave school, I go back to New York. I have to figure it out. I end up at Hunter College, studying mathematics and just trying to find my way. And once I got to Hunter College, I met this cat named Omawale, and he started the Hip Hop Advocates Club. And the club was like just analyzing music that was out from we got back home 98. Yeah, it was 98 to like 2001. We would just analyze what's coming out, and we would try to figure out how to advocate to get Most Def and Talib and Common and all the artists that we love more radio play. That was like, we would just have these debates. It was like a club. We would
Yeah.
talk about what's on the radio and why certain stuff ain't on the radio. And then we would just try to figure out how to like just be more responsible, spreading the word, maybe doing shows with like Dice Raw at Hunter, from the Roots, formerly of the Roots. And then this, after 2 years, it evolved into a union, bro. I gotta be honest. We ended up building a nonprofit hip hop union with us in this club, M1 of Dead Prez and Immortal Technique, and that was kind of like, it pushed me into hip hop, just being at Hunter in that club. Next thing you know, I'm building a union, you know what I'm saying? And like,
Okay.
yeah, moonlighting, making beats as well, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I'm sorry.
No. You're fine. You're
Yeah.
fine. So I want to just go back. So the discussions that you guys were having was the fact that
Yeah.
you guys know about these certain artists, but you felt that they weren't getting enough radio exposure as far as like commercial radio.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
yeah, some of the music on the air at the time, all the music is pop. Pop music is always attractive, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they were indie artists that weren't getting like airplay. For example, hip hop and R&B, Amel LaRue, The Roots, Most, Talib, who else? Ra Digga. Like, there was just a bunch of these really talented folks that you would never hear on the radio like that. And I'm like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, we were trying to figure out the why,
Right.
Um,
How does the connection between M1 and Motor Technique come to happen?
so we decided from the Hip Hop Advocates Club, Omawale decided that we need to build something like a union, like an org. And I was like, yo, we need to do a nonprofit because that's a way that we could always try to advocate to get bread, you know what I'm saying, for free.
Right.
So then we did that. And then Omawale, he brought M1, and we watched the tape of Immortal Technique, some underground joint where he was going nuts. And then Wale is like, yo, we're going to try to get him to come through. Next thing you know, Technique is there in like a week or two. And then it's M1 and Immortal Technique. And M1 gave me his phone book, and he's like, Mecca, call everybody in this book, tell them I sent you, and tell them about the union. So from Talib, you probably won't remember this, Talib, Sean Price, to Most Def's Yasin Bey's dad, I called everybody, and let them know we got major cosigns, man. We got major cosigns for the movement. CeeLo Green, like mad people co-signed us, yo. You know what I mean?
So what did you guys have?
Hmm.
So okay, so in order to reach M1, let's say Immortal Technique to begin with,
Yeah.
what did you guys already have in place that they even said, you know what, yeah, I'm down? Like, was the other brother the one that had the connections, or were you guys doing some kind of work that they were able to see already?
It was an idea.
It was just an idea. Nice.
And it was an idea to get artists free healthcare, free dental, and free show bookings with a little bit of free legal advice. That was the idea.
That was the idea, and
Yeah,
they were on board with that
yeah,
vision.
100%.
So they saw the vision.
Yeah,
They saw the vision.
yeah,
So okay, so you guys reach out, you start reaching out to everybody. Um, what happens next as far as, it sounds like you have a lot of people on board and that are supporting you. Did it ever manifest to what you guys wanted?
yeah. Our first big show, we threw a benefit show for Poetic of Grave Diggers, rest in peace. And we got Afu Ra, Common, what's the brother's name? It's on the tip of my tongue, man. Uh, Saigon,
Oh,
um,
okay. Wow, Saigon.
Dead
Yeah,
Prez
yeah.
was there, Immortal
Mhm.
Technique. We had like the crazy benefit concert. I'm almost certain I was calling Moni Love on the radio at the time. I think she was on 105.1 or BLS at the time. I can't remember. But I would call her up and she was super supportive. And I'm not sure if she announced it on the radio, but we just got a lot of support for that show, and it
Good.
kind of put us on the map. And we got, I think, like a all hip hop write up about it as well. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of started to amplify our name. Yeah, and the industry took notice of that. You know what I'm saying? I got a whole nother story about that one day. They took notice.
They took
Definitely.
notice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, were you guys pretty much the first as
Yes.
far as coming up with the idea of the union as far as healthcare for artists and stuff like that?
From what we know, yeah. And
Yeah.
this was back conceived in 2000, established in 2001. So it's interesting because the last few years, the conversation has been had. And it
Yeah.
was like when we did it back then, it was very taboo. So people were like kind of afraid of it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, like they didn't really want to. And it was $5 dues a month. And like we had doctors volunteering service and dentists. And people were kind of afraid of it. They didn't see the value in it. You know what I mean?
Do you think there was some kind of a trust issue maybe? Like, meaning no?
No. No, I think people would like to be in alignment with commercial success. Whatever that commercial wave was at that time, people
Mhm.
want to be in alignment with that. That's what I think.
Got now, what about but let's say, okay, let's just say that there's a group of artists or whatever have you, even the higher ups that are like, "We're not messing with this." Was there anybody though that was like, "You know what? I still believe in this and I feel it's needed," that wanted to stick with it?
Oh, that's a good one. Man, I can't even front, bro. Shouts
Wow.
to Dreddy Kruger and Killer Priest, man.
Mm.
I got on a call. Dreddy called me. I did massive outreach and Dreddy called me and he's like, yo, I told RZA about it and like, yo, like we co-sign it, bro. And he's like, I'm gonna try to be there. I'm trying to bring the Abbott.
Mhm,
He
mhm,
comes to the meeting and he brings Killer Priest. I'm like, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
Like, yo,
Yeah,
anyone
yeah,
from the cipher, yo, are you
yeah,
kidding me? That was
yeah.
the first time meeting Priest. And then Priest came back and we had more shows and he brought Black Market Militia. I believe that was the name of the God's group back then. And yeah, just, Priest, when we needed his assistance, he always showed up. You know what I'm saying? Afu Ra was another one. Um, but I guess like on the longevity thing, it's more indie artists, like
Mhm,
that kind of stuck with it. I think one of the indie champions I'll just mention is Majesty.
mm.
Majesty's from the X. He was a real unsung battle. MC from the EO Dub circuit.
Yo,
Yo, he was a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
beast. He was a beast. He ended up being in our rap group. And then Majesty went on to not only work with the Justice Committee of New York and get Ramali Graham's family retribution
Mhm.
for police violence, but he also founded the legendary Cypher in Union Square Park. And it's still going on today, over 10 years strong. And there's kids coming there that don't never met him, but they're coming there for this cipher. So he passed away in 2016, but he outlived and left his legacy, and it all started in game. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like Majesty's legacy really started in game as like one of my little brothers, and he just kept going. You know what I'm saying? Running with it. You know?
Got you, got you, got you. Now, game is that's the name, right, of the whole collective
Yeah,
union. Got you, got you. Okay.
yeah,
Now, man, we're kind of jumping a little bit, but it all tie in. So
yeah,
before we continue with that, you mentioned that you were also moonlighting making beats,
yeah.
right? But at what point in time do you even get interested in wanting to make beats? And how does that happen?
Yeah, I started making beats in '99. So again, I transferred colleges. I'm back in New York. I'm at Hunter. I'm listening to like the craziest releases. You know what I'm saying? Like shouts to Most Def. Ruckus was on a tear in '99. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Um, and I was just like, I want to paint with sound. That's I was like, I was listening to beats more than lyrics, bro. And I was like, yo, I need like 88 Keys, I believe the brother's name.
Yeah.
He showed up to the union meetings. He was mad supportive. Shouts to 88 Keys, man. Um, man, we had a lot of support. But yeah, brother, it was vibing off of hip hop as a soundtrack to just doing what I'm doing in life. I was just like, damn, I really want to start learning how to make beats. I just fell in love with beats, man. You know?
And did you actually see it that way in your head, like you just said, like painting with beats right
Painting
there
with sound.
with
Painting with
sound? I'm sorry, with sound. I meant, yeah, 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 yeah. Did you
yeah.
did you like? Do you see it like that when you're creating music? Do you see it like in the same way as if when you're creating art?
That's like I heard Pharrell has that where he sees color like in
That's
music.
why. That's why I'm asking, because I had somebody on not that long ago. Man, I'm sorry. I wish I could remember. If it comes to me, I'll give this person the shout out. But they said something similar, how
Yeah.
they would see, they would hear a sound and they could envision a color.
Oh yeah, I think it's called synesthesia. I might be incorrect, but yeah,
But yeah, so I was just, that's also another interesting thing, man. It's very, I find it fascinating how the human brain sometimes works. You know what I mean?
yes, yes.
And those are things that I feel like sometimes there's like something that some people are just in tuned or tapped in that some others maybe just don't have that frequency
Mm.
or whatever. But so that's how you saw it?
Yo, most of my beats I see them as like images, like backdrops, like as like if we got a posse cut, I see the apocalypse, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, 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 yeah.
You
Well,
know.
have you ever done a have you ever worked on a beat, right? And you envision these things. Have you ever picked up the brush or something and kind of
Or paint it.
like, yeah, have you or like, yeah, have you ever done something like that?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I would. That shit would be ill to have like the beat and this is the portrait of that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe with some of the graphic design, with
yeah,
some of the albums that I worked on myself,
yeah.
maybe because I'm playing the music and designing at the
Right,
same
right.
time.
I mean, I know it's not literal, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if the beat is playing, I'm just wondering like what comes to your mind, you know what I mean? And if you kind of translated that into the art form,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
dope. But so okay, so now how are you self-taught when it came to making the beats? Did you have a mentor? Anybody showing you?
Yeah. So the game was sold and not told to me, man. So
Okay.
like there was I got good brothers in my life. I used to one of my part-time job was at 1-800 Flowers in a corporate call center. A bunch of black and brown folks. It was lit. Oh God, it was treacherously lit in that call center, bro. God damn. But there's a brother from Wine Dance named Eugene.
Okay.
Eugene saw that I was like a hip hop head, you know what I'm saying? And he would always stop by my desk and he would just give me jewels like, yo, you definitely want to try to get that rolling beat machine. If you could save up your money, get that MPC and try to, you know what I mean? And he just kept telling me stuff and I would literally draw it in my notebook. Like my first beats, before I even got equipment, I drew them in the notebook, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was like, I can't, once I get equipment, like, I'm doing these first, you know what I'm saying? But I literally would draw them shits out, you know what I'm saying? So,
What do you,
yeah, I think that,
what do you
yeah.
mean draw them out?
Oh, like you get notebook paper,
Yeah.
and then I create the grid, and then I would map out the kick. Like you see how people have it now on Fruity Loops, etc.
Yeah.
Before that even existed, I was putting it in a notebook because I'm like, I just want to remember the flow. So if I look at it, I'm just like, yo, I got it. You know what I'm saying? I just got to get equipment to get it out my head.
So it was kind of like music notes you were doing, but for beat.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yo, that's crazy. That's so ill, man. See that? Wait, yo, pardon me for but those type of things excite me because I love the fact of how, and I think hip hop also has, the generation and the times that we came up in. There's something that not forced us, but it gave us a creativity in our minds to come up with something without somebody teaching us or showing us. We would come up with like figuring out how to take a cassette and pause it on the beat and then do it again and have it extended. Like, I mean, that's just one little simple thing that I know it's like, oh yeah, we all used to do that. But most of us, nobody taught us that. It was just like, yo, I like this beat or I like this part. And I want to hear more of it, for example, right?
Yeah.
So those type of things that you're saying, I always find that fascinating.
Wow, that's dope. Yeah.
So, okay, so now you're experimenting, I'm assuming at some point you finally get yourself some equipment, right?
No.
No? Are you somebody else's equipment you're using? Not even. Oh man. Let me see what goes on there.
Yo, this is what happened, E. I couldn't afford the equipment, you
Okay.
know? I think the MPC at the time was like upwards of $2,000.
Something like that, yeah.
And at that time,
Probably
you already
more.
know,
Yeah.
like our gas prices back then were 99 cents. You know what I'm saying? So like 2K was like, it's gonna take forever to get that, you know? So my mom, I sent her on a mission. I was like, listen, if you get it to the computer shop and you see any music software, let me know, please. Because I felt like I could afford the software. I can't afford the
Okay.
big
Yeah.
pieces. Yo, she just was proactive. She's like, here, gave me a $30 program called Dance EJ. Dance EJ was to make beats from 120 to 160 BPM. So those are like house techno beats.
Right.
So I realized I could split the BPM in half or space the beats out in half and make hip hop beats. So my first program was a $30 program called Dance EJ. And I was beasting on it to where the hood thought it was an MPC, you know what I'm saying? But it was a computer. Yeah.
Nice.
Man.
Now, tell me between that time and those moments,
Yeah.
because also through, you're talking about the union.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, through that and reaching out to people and everything, you meet a brother named Webb.
Yes. Yo.
So what is the time frame like between the time that you're experimenting with the software and meeting him? Is that close in time or
Yeah.
it is?
Very much so. Yeah, man.
Okay.
So
How do you meet Webb, or some might know as X-Ray the Mindbender?
yeah, man. Within that time, again, working at 1-800-Flowers, you know what I mean? Going to school at Hunter and doing this hip hop union. I was doing outreach and Webb's info and Doom's info was not in M1's book. But I had it was around late 2001. I had already got Operation Doomsday. And I was like, yo, they from Long Beach. Like, I hear it in the lyrics. I'm like, yo, like Monsta Island is, where is it? Like, is it Long Island? Is it Manhattan? Like, I didn't know. I was
Right.
trying to figure it out. So I went down the rabbit hole and I realized the feature on Who You Think I Am, they're a bunch of monsters. So I found out they like, you know, Doom kept saying Monsta Island Czars. Like, and I was like, yo, what is that? Like, that's all, that's a crew. Then I'm seeing again, like Long Island is mentioned. So I went on Doom's site and then I just started using, I think I used like yahoo.com or like excite.com or something to like try to
Mhm.
use the search engine to find more on Monsta Island. It was impossible. It was fucking impossible to find information.
Yeah.
Then somehow I found this website that X-Ray built and I went on there and there's little glimpses of like Rodan on these little video file clips. I'm like, yeah. So I found the email and I just sent it. I sent the email. I just sent the email to the website email.
Ah,
Yo, and
okay,
I
okay.
explained what we were doing in Manhattan. And I was like, yo, I'm a huge like Doom head and I love the feature on the Doom album. I was like, Who You Think I Am is my shit. Like, I love y'all. Like, and I'm a Godzilla head. Like, y'all gotta come to the union. You know what I'm saying? So he
Okay.
hit me back and he's like, yo, the next meeting, like, we'll be there. And he sent Rodan Kong and I believe it was Kamakuris. It was three of them. They
Okay.
pulled up. Yeah, and Webb sent them to get the info. You know what I'm saying? And I'll pause right there because there's more to the story, but I don't want to keep going.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah. No, it is okay. Um,
Yeah,
okay, so that's how so that's how you meet Web X-Ray. Uh
yeah, yes.
well actually you might have to okay, before you continue with that part of the story, you're experimenting with the beats.
Yeah.
We already talked about the art. You talked
Mm-hmm.
about dancing. You talked about, you were writing your poems and stuff like that.
Mm,
Now you're doing all that work with the union and
mm.
trying to, I want to say in a way, kind of behind the scenes as far as hip hop goes, right? You're trying to take care of hip hop culture,
Mm.
right? Is anywhere in your mind during this time, are you thinking, I want to be an artist, I want to be an MC, or I want to be a producer? Like as far as, making a career out of it or further expanding that. Is that going through your mind yet at this point?
Yeah. And I'll say, even prior to as a visual artist when I was younger,
Uh-huh.
everybody's like, you need to sell this for $500. You know what I mean? That
Okay.
was always being pushed on me, but I was just like, but I could see it possibly. Now, fast forward when I'm making beats around this time doing the union stuff, I knew that I needed to put my 10,000 hours in. I knew I was getting good,
Uh-huh.
but I was just like, I could hear the weakness. Like I think what this and in parallel, this is what I love about athletes and boxers that are 100% real. Like
Mhm.
they watch tape, they know who they are, they know where they need to grow. So I'm listening to all this dope shit. I don't have somebody to teach me. I
Mhm.
have to listen to learn. And I'm like, damn, I don't know how to make these Dilla bass lines. I don't know how to make the SB bass line. I don't know how to do it. And I'm listening, trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Listening to Doom. And I'm like, yo, how did he loop that though? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, just again, going through it on my own, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But the whole time, I'm like, I'm gonna get my 10,000 hours in and be somebody. Like, that's just where my mind was at. I don't know where who, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna
Right,
grow.
right, right,
Be
right.
one of
Right.
the one, you know? So
Okay.
yeah.
We're gonna go further back for 1 second.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned you were already a Godzilla, into Godzilla and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Real quick, if you could tell me, growing up as a kid, as a young one, as a kid,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about some of the stuff, for example, obviously you just mentioned Godzilla, but what were some of the other things that you might have been into, whether it was, cartoons, we talked about the comics, but give me a
Mm,
little bit of a little capsule as far as like,
yeah.
what were some of the things that you were into as a kid growing up?
Man, I remember coming home from school when MTV was on regular TV
Mhm,
before it went into its
mhm.
own channel.
Right.
I remember what was it? Dance Fever.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
remember Put It on the Hits.
Uh-huh.
and also all of our sitcom shows from the Jeffersons to the Golden Girls, you know,
Uh-huh.
um, different strokes. And then, yo, we got lucky because they would always randomly show us, depending on the Saturday, kung fu
Yeah, yeah,
joints
yeah, yeah.
or Godzilla. And it never was like you had to look at the TV guide to like,
Yeah.
so I got smart. I would take people's TV guides and I would read the whole month to find where the stuff is at, hoping Godzilla is in there. Then I would mark the day and then I would be ready to catch it. You know what I'm saying? So
TV
yeah,
guides, bro.
TV guide, bro.
That's crazy, man. Oh wow. So okay, Godzilla. You mentioned the sitcoms,
Yeah.
the kung fu, the karate flicks and stuff like that, the kung fu shows.
And all the
Um,
cartoons, you already know.
and the
Voltron,
cartoons.
G-Force.
You mentioned McGilla Gorilla, man, before, as far as I was like, damn, man. So okay, I just wanted to kind of get, I wanted the people to get a little bit of an idea of the time frame and things that, you were absorbing,
Mm.
growing up. So let's continue with the story as far as because I want to tie that into, as far as you and you getting more into hip hop and becoming an artist. You meet Webb, you meet X-Ray the Mindbender, like we were just talking about, and he sends three individuals who are. I'm actually surprised that those. I'm surprised that those two out of the three even showed up.
Yeah.
But Rodan, Kong, and
Kamak. I
Kamak.
believe it was Kamacuras. Yeah.
So
Mm.
they come. You get to meet them.
Yeah, they sit front and center in the union meeting. Yeah.
And do you know exactly who they are?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So now you know them from as far as Monster Island
Yeah. Yeah. Or Doom's record. Yeah.
or
Yes.
Doom's record at the time, right? Because that's before,
Nah,
right?
I
Or was
mean
it about
they
this?
claimed it. They claimed it on there, but it's like
Yeah, I'm trying to
again,
remember.
I was still trying to learn, but
Yeah,
I was like, I guess this is the squad. Like it was so mysterious. Like I needed to learn and ask more questions, but I was like, these are the guys. These are
I
literally the
should I should
monsters,
I should
from
know
the
this. The Monster was it? But was the album out yet?
Operation Doomsday. Yeah.
That was
Operation
out.
Doomsday was out.
Not the
Yes.
not the right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now at the time, do you know who Rodan is besides
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know of him outside of the Doom material, but I did so much scouring
Mm,
prior to reaching out to X-Ray and that website that I
okay.
was like, yo, this guy, him and Deck at the time were my favorite MCs. To this day, they still are. Ro and Deck,
Rodan
like
and Deck.
number one when it comes to the pen in my mind.
Yeah.
Bro was crazy. Just, I could go on and on about Rodan. But
Wait,
yes, when they walk in the room, I knew
okay.
I knew that was Rodan. You know what I'm saying? I knew it was him.
So
Yeah.
just for those that might be watching and listening, we Rodan, for those that know, I know, the faithfuls know who Rodan is, but uh an MC artist, started out with KMD very,
Mm,
very early on. KMD, obviously, Zeb Love X became MF Doom, DJ Subrock, Rodan. And there's more history to that, you know what I mean? But just
shouts to
just
Onyx.
shout out to Onyx, but just for the surface of who we're mentioning. Kong, another dope MC, man. Rest in peace to Kong.
Yes.
The whole entire crew is just ridiculous.
Mm.
So the reason why I just want to kind of talk a little bit about that is because at some point in time, and I'll let you, you'll share that story, but you get pretty much get down with that collective of individuals. Um, but before you tell us how that happens, does any part with meeting Webb, the production, at what point do you guys connect and maybe talk? And does he help you out at all when it comes to the music part of things?
Yeah. I guess I'll share real quick what happened,
Hmm.
I decided to run around with BCDs on me, just in case I ran into Yasin Bey, Talib, common, I just had it on me. You know what I'm saying? So Rodan shows up. I'm like, oh crap. I give him, after the union meeting is over, I give him, they rushed out of there. And I'm like, yo, bro, yo. You know what I'm saying? Reintroduce myself. And I was like, yo, here, man, like, I burnt this, like, just have a listen. Let me, if anything resonates, like, let me know. You know what I'm saying? I ain't hear nothing from him, but the CD had my phone number on it. Yo,
Okay.
he called me 3 weeks later. He's like, bro, we just finished my solo album. I need you to come to the studio. I got 3 songs with your beats on it. And I'm like, what? I hadn't physically met X-Ray yet. I only knew X-Ray on the email. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
So that is the gateway into what you ask, bro. And I'm like, yo, I live in Freeport. Where you at? He's like, bro, I live in Uniondale. I'm like, where? Then he told me where. And I'm like, what? I'm like, right up the street.
Right there. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I had the whip, you know what I'm saying? So then we end up, I pick him up, we build, the camaraderie's there. It's definitely like big brother, little brother energy. Like, man, it's so many like, man. But anyway, we end up going to X-Ray Studio, bro, and off of Hillside and 164th around there.
Okay.
And I got to finally meet Webb. And it was like, Rodan is a Jedi already as an MC. And then you're meeting this DJ, producer, MC, like elder legend that's gone through it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, meeting Webb was crazy. And yes, he did mentor me. Yes, 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 yes. When there was samples I couldn't chop because I didn't know what I was doing. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
learn.
yeah, yeah.
I would bring him the sample and he chopped something for one of Kamaka's solo albums. I was like, Webb, I don't know how to chop this. I got it off of a Spanish novella on Univision
Yeah,
at like 2
yeah,
in the
yeah,
morning.
yeah.
I'm like, here. And then he like chopped it up for Kamaka's album. It was stuff like that. Like just watching him, he'll pull stuff up on his mixing board and be like, yo, Rap, like I do this. And sometimes like I'll do this. You know what I'm saying? He's like,
Mhm.
yo, you can quantize vocals doing that. And I'm like, he's like, yo, sometimes the cats don't even rhyme. The beat that you hear in the record, they didn't even rhyme to that beat. I have to like move stuff around to make it. And I'm
Right.
like, bro, so it was one of those. Like you get thrown into the kitchen with Chef Ramsay and you gotta just learn, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it was one of those. Yeah. Rest in peace, X-Ray, man. Rest in peace, Calm, Spiga, June Classic, Majesty, Doom. Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I know. It's crazy, man. But so 3 joints of yours ends up on Rodan's debut album.
Yo, to this day, like they gave me my break in music business, man, and they didn't have to. And my beats, I know for sure. Much love to X-Ray. X-Ray knew that my beats were very young, preliminary, but
Mhm.
Ro loved the rawness of what they were. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But my style was like you walking into a dojo with Timberland boots on. It's like, bro, take your
Yeah,
shoes
yeah,
off,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how my
Yeah.
beat sounded back then. It's like, yo.
Yeah, no, but I get it though. And that's uh the the book of the book of
Yeah,
Revelation,
yeah,
right?
the Book of Elevations.
Elevation.
Yeah.
Right. Nice, man. That's I mean, for someone that's a pretty dope intro into, being
Yes.
exposed into the music aspect of everything, meeting these brothers like that. So since we're on the topic, let's talk a little bit more about it before we jump into
Mhm.
some other things.
Mhm.
You're in that circle now, right? You're
Yeah.
going to X-Ray's studio. You got Rodan there. You talked about how he chopped up some stuff for the other album.
Yeah.
Take me through it. What's happening next after that? What's the relationship like moving forward?
Oh man. So I love it was just a vibe. X-Ray's crib was always a vibe. You know what I'm saying? It almost felt like whatever's going out on the street, like you go there and it becomes like Switzerland,
Mhm.
where it's mad chill. Everybody's chill. Cats would roll up. I didn't smoke. But cats would roll up and I would just be in the vibe watching. Like Megalon, you know what I'm saying? Like the legend, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then Ray Long was like, you know, a younger brother to Megalon, you know what I'm saying? And Ray Long is another one, you know, and it's again, all these personalities. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, Rodan didn't have the artwork yet. And he's explaining to me the concept. And I was like, yo, I know how to draw. He was like, word? And I'm like, yeah, pencil and paper right now. Word. Gave me the pencil and paper. I drew the Rodan Jedi figure, which features on the cover of Theophany. I drew it in X-Ray's crib on the couch. Like, as he's playing beats and everybody's doing whatever, Rodan's coming to check like every 2 minutes. I'm like, yo, I'll show you when I'm done. Like, normally I don't like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
knock it out. And I'm like, and he's like, bro, this is exactly what you know what I mean? Like I meshed the giant pterodactyl with a Jedi character. And that's what he wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the collab came about with Keo. Again, we're in the cipher.
Mm-hmm.
Doom's energy's around, but he's not physically around. But
Mm-hmm.
I get connected to Keo, who made his mask,
Mm-hmm.
through Rodan. And Rodan's like, yo, give me the artwork. I'm gonna give it to Keo. And he's like, Keo's gonna work on the cover. Then me and Rodan go to the mall. I take some photos of him on the mall, like sitting with the pen and pad. We give that to Keo, and that became the cover. Keo put it all together. So it was like my first art collab with a graffiti legend and my first music production, like with another MC legend, you know, and I still didn't know who everyone was. I'm still learning.
Right,
Like,
right, right.
this is all within the first year and a half of building a union, bro.
First year and a half for building the union. Wow. That's
All of
amazing.
this was happening like that. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. So the
Wait.
vibe at X-Ray's crib was dope, man. It was really, really dope.
So you also worked on the Megalon, right? The cover for Megalon's album?
Yeah, yeah. I teamed up with the sister named Mazar, and we put the Penny for Your Thoughts together, getting all the credits and stuff. And then I drew an illustration of Tommy like on a bike with his arms stretched out like Christ with wings, and he's holding two guns. He's on like a GT mongoose, and he's like jumping over cop cars. And the faces of the cops, they got the you know, the hammers drawn, and I made
Yeah,
them like pigs. I made like pig snouts on there.
yeah, yeah.
So I posted some of this artwork on my website. It's in a tribute post to Spiga where I post the original drawings.
Hmm.
So if y'all check that later and E will put y'all on,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it'll be,
Sure.
you know what I mean? But yeah, I got to work on Megalon stuff too. Yeah. Yeah.
I have, man, I should have pulled it out.
Yeah.
I have a copy of the CD,
Yeah.
Penny for Your Thought that he gave me way back
Yeah.
then,
But
man.
when you pull the CD out, you'll see my illustration in there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta look for that. So you got so yeah, that's crazy. Now this is all happening and still you haven't even picked up the mic yet.
Nah, definitely not.
You still
Definitely
haven't
not.
picked up the mic yet. All right,
Definitely not.
let's keep going, man. So you work, album beats on there, album covers for Megalon, Rodan, collaborating with Keo,
Yeah.
and the sister you mentioned as well. What happens next?
Oh man. So then like the founder of the crew ends up coming home, you know, and like, oh nah, actually Escape had dropped. Escape dropped. And then
Right, because
there was like a wave.
he's
Yeah.
not on that album.
On a posse cut. He's on a posse cut, I believe, on there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember. Okay, but for the most part, because if I'm not mistaken, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I gotta do the knowledge again,
yeah,
man.
me too. I haven't listened in a while, but I know for the most part he wasn't around to be on the album.
From
Uh,
what I gathered too, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
right. If
So
I'm
I
not
remember
mistaken.
this album dropped, and I'm kind of in like the hip hop union cipher, and I know some of the
Mhm.
promoters, so I end up getting, um, you know, the group a show. I got them a show at the Knitting Factory. You know what I'm saying? So I remember, oh, the show was crazy, bro. Pumpkinhead and Pumpkinhead's crew was there.
Ooh.
I think it was like members of the Plague were there, and then it was all of us, and it was like, rest in peace to PH, man.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
my,
yeah, yeah. For
oh my
sure.
God. I remember the show was going on for a minute, and like Monsta Island was on the side waiting to get on. And I remember Kamakarus walks on the stage while PH is in the middle of a set, and Kamakarus grabs the mic and he's like, Monsta Island, Monsta Island, Monsta. And I'm looking at this shit like, yo,
Uh,
there might be a brawl that pops off, bro. And PH played it off. Like he like diffused that, but it was
yeah,
like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? It's my first time at a show with them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
yeah. This is what you.
yo, PH is, these are my homies too. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I was like, but it got diffused. The brothers
Okay.
rocked. It was dope, man. It was really dope, man. And from there, then shortly after, like I said, the founder came out.
Mhm.
And then, with his label, like I was with, the Queens and Long Island heads, but also being in the city to be supportive of him being home and just letting him know that I'm available. So it was a bunch of years working with him from music to like events. And that's how I met June Classic, K, Maz, Majesty was already with me, but I met more of the younger monsters
Mhm.
through him. And then, just trying to figure it out, but that first album, just to kind of rein it in, um, after I flexed like my drawing skill on a few of the earlier projects, Boss came home, and then it was just like being supportive, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, real quick, I just want to ask you. You mentioned a couple of times as far as the founder coming around. The boss. You're talking about MF Grimm, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, indeed.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Shout
Yeah,
out to
man.
MF Grimm. Putting all of that together, having the thoughts and the brains behind that. So yeah, so tell me, man, keep going. I want to get to that juicy part as far as when does MeccaGodzilla take form and get down with the crew and the Monsta Island clique and all of that?
Yeah, man. So running around with Ro a lot, I learned a lot from Ro, man. Rodan literally, sometimes I'll tell him he's like 25 years ahead of
Mhm.
me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm still like, I'm finally where like some of his awareness was 25 years ago. I'm finally there now. You know what I mean? And his level of consciousness is, yo, he's like one of my greatest mentors in life, period. You know what I'm saying? So we would always drive around. We would hit up the Lions Den to go see Immortal Technique or
Oh,
C Rays perform. So I'm like going in and out of these spaces, knowing that I want to get better. I just got to put the hours in, you know what I'm saying? And I'm with him all the time. And then we finally, I hit up X-Ray Studio once. Oh shit, I forgot about this, bro. Damn. Yo, it was 2003 or '04. Yo, I literally was dying in the hospital, bro. I was
oh,
dying. I just got down with the crew, like X-Ray,
mhm.
Roll, Megalon, and I was dying, man. I went blind, couldn't walk, talk. Like I was dying of like a kidney and liver attack, from
Oh,
eating outside,
yeah.
food poisoning, but the mortality rate at the time was 90%, bro. And bro, I was dying. I
Wow.
cannot kid you not. I don't wish that on nobody. I was like, so I remember I wrote on a piece of paper because I couldn't walk, talk, nothing, but I just motioned like this. So they thought, all right, give paper. And I wrote down Escape from Monsta Island, Lauryn Hill's acoustic album, and Only Built for Cuban Links, CDs, headphones, please. You know, they brought the music to me and I was listening to this music coming back to life, bro. This music literally kept me alive. Period.
Monster
Monster Island,
Island.
Escape from Monster Island, that first album,
Uh-huh.
the Lauryn Hill acoustic one, her second album, and Only Built for Cuban Links by Raekwon. I listened to those on repeat over and over and over and over and over again. And then through listening and paying attention to lyrics, once I got out, I was making beats similar to Dilla in the
Mhm.
hospital. blind. You know, I got them to bring my laptop, making beats in the hospital. When I got home finally, that spark to want to start writing proper rhymes was there, you know? So I was just like, I got a second shot at this. I want to just elevate, you know what I'm saying? Pun intended. Shouts to Theophany, the Book of Elevation.
Right.
So yeah, man. Yeah, I got home. Rodan gave me the name G Mecca as soon as I got home, you know what I'm saying? And then um I just started pushing myself writing rhymes. I wasn't that good in the beginning. I wasn't whack, but I wasn't that good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Now,
over time I got
was it intimidating for you when it came to the rhymes and getting better as far as like the crew and everybody that you're around? Did you feel any type of intimidation or you know, how was that?
yeah, I'm an athlete at heart. So it's
Okay.
like, you know, I'm a hooper. So it's like, I mean, these cats are dunking, but I got a handle. I got a dribble.
Okay.
So like, you know,
Yeah.
I just gotta get better. I just gotta
Gotcha.
get better. You know? So
Nice.
yeah.
All right. So Rodan gives you the name as far as MeccaGodzilla?
Yeah, he called me G Mecca. And he let me know, I believe the brother's name is Ahmed. Ahmed is the first Mecca Godzilla ever. You know what I'm saying? I believe he was dancer for third base. Yeah, he's the first Mecca Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? So I remember X-Ray told me, he's like, there was already one, but like he's not MCing. So I was like, y'all got an issue with? They're like, nah, take it. You know what I'm saying? So I got the
Did
name.
you ever meet it? Did you ever get a chance to meet her?
I'm almost certain I did, but I don't. I can't, yo, pardon self.
It's
I'm
okay. It's
not
okay.
100% sure. Not 100% sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
So,
I'm mad, pardon self. If we did meet, God, my bad, God. But
nah. It's cool, man. Yo, that's crazy. You know, damn, man. You just blew my mind with
a
that
lot of
one.
memories, right?
You just blew my
For
mind
you,
with
right?
that one. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, so he gives you the name. Now tell me, man, at what point are you off and running, you know, off to the races as far as like, yo, I'm down, I'm officially
Yeah, that's a good
on
one.
Monster
So
Island.
the Theophany drops, and I believe it's the brother named Brolin Winning, a journalist at that time. Yo, he
Mm-hmm.
wrote in one of these write-ups for Rodan's album. Yo, he bigged up X-Ray, bigged up the production, and then he's like, again, for the record, just for
Mm-hmm.
fans, why, like I'm not in Monsta Island anymore, but at the time I was.
Yeah.
So he wrote, this is MIC's secret weapon, Ravage. You know, I had two names, Ravage
Mm-hmm.
and MeccaGodzilla. He was like, yo, his production is cinematic, blah, blah, blah. His work on War in Heaven and Human Inquisition is amazing. Like, and I'm sitting there like, yo, so when you get a cosign like that from like an esteemed journalist, you know, shouts to Brolin, then it's like, I gotta get better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that just encouraged me to like just work harder, you know? And on my way home from work, I ended up getting a new job working at the college board while I'm running around with Monsta Island. Um, I would be on the Long Island Railroad every day writing rhymes, front and
Okay.
back, just trying to get better, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
yeah, man.
How does the rest of the crew, how do they receive you as far as like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, we know
Yeah.
Rodan, we know X-Ray, you know what I mean? But like, when it comes time to like, yo, this brother's gonna be down with the crew as well. How does
Yeah. Everybody was cool with it except for K Mel, bro.
Huh?
Yo, Kong gave me such a hard time in the beginning, bro.
Yeah.
Kong is such a character, bro. Me and Kong almost fought, rest in peace. We
Oh wow.
almost fought, man. Like,
Really?
what a character, bro.
That's
But
strong. Yeah.
what I love that they just saw consistency and they all were encouraging. And then once me and Kong got on the same page, and it didn't take long. It took like 2 or 3 meetings to get on the same page, but we
Okay.
almost fought. We almost fought the second time we met. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Um, he opened the door and he was always in my ear about MCing and how to get better. And he was like, yo, watch my cousin Spiga. Spiga writes in like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, has a whole verse. Listen to how he lays that down.
Mm.
He's like, now listen to me. Like, I want you to think twice or 3 times about why I just said this one line. It has 3 different meanings. He would break it down for me like that. In parallel, I listened to Megalon and Rodan just listening. and then I'm hearing their own variants of what Kong is saying in
Mm,
their own ways. And then Rodan stuff I'm still catching years later. I'm like, damn, now that I have more knowledge, that's what that meant also. You know what I'm saying? Same with
okay.
Megalon. So yeah, they received me well in the beginning. Last point is the guy Ray Long was around. He's affiliated,
Mhm.
not official, but affiliated, work with X-Ray all the time. And he was always around us. Me and Ray Long are the same age. So Ray Long took to me like, we were really close, you know what I'm saying? So having somebody my age, like we're a little bit younger,
Mhm.
and following him, and he's always down to come to a show, whatever. It was great support, man. It was definitely no hate at all in the
Okay.
cipher, man. It was all encouragement to just get better. You know what I'm saying? So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
I really appreciate them for that, man.
Nice. So talk a little bit about the music as far as once you're established as far as being down with everybody in the crew,
Yeah,
what happens next as far as music goes and
that's a
on
good one.
albums, what's going on with that?
Man, I met this cat named Divine Life Allah. He was living in Japan at the time. It was like, we evolved to 2005.
Mhm.
And I'm looking at what's happening. There's a deconstruction of music business and things are becoming more and more uncertain. We still got CD shops and record shops, but things are just different. Like, and I don't like what's on the radio per se. We don't Doom, like people are still sleeping. People are still sleeping on Dilla.
Right,
And
right.
I was just like, these are the artists I love. And like everybody's asleep. So I just was like, let me go to Japan. I'm gonna go to Japan and be lost in translation. Yo, Divine Life Allah plugged me into the underground of Tokyo, my first visit. And I saw what tourists will never see in the hip hop world of Japan.
Right, right, right.
And I was like, yo, I watched these cats. Um, they had a hip hop party where it was like two MCs, one singer, DJ set, and these B-boys got on bicycles and they had like this show. And
Yeah,
at the end of the show, the MCs for the next 6 hours until the sun came up
they
were
just
MCing the whole party, bro.
wow.
And I was like, this is stuff like, this is how the Black Party started.
Right,
You know what
right,
I'm
right, right,
saying?
right, right, right.
They're doing that in 2005 in
Yeah.
Japan? I'm like, so it was just expanding my mind to the global market. Like there's something bigger than just New York. So that kind of, just got me to pay attention and want to collaborate with international artists. That's kind of where my mind started to pivot a little bit. Like I'm already working with amazing artists, but I want to get bigger. I want to
Right,
expand. You know
right,
what I'm
right, right.
saying? So I kind of ended up visiting Japan 8 times and living there for a short time and like cementing myself in like the hip hop scene of Tokyo and a little bit of Osaka.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so when you are going to Japan as far as visiting,
Mm,
you made the connection, you were saying how you made the connection, but now are are they familiar with who you are
that's a good one. Very few knew about Monsta Island and very few knew about Doom at the time
at the time?
because
This is what year about?
2005.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Um But when I showed them and then they made the connection to KMD, it's like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
everybody remembers like the earlier records, they're still catching up with their digging at that
gotcha,
time.
gotcha.
So, but then, when they hear about like all of the crew members and like the street cred behind some of them, they're like, oh shit. Like, then they're open, like, yo, come to the studio. Like, let's try to work on something. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
So, I got co-signed by some of the toughest cats in Tokyo, man. It was an honor, and it was all Divine Life. Yeah, he just opened the door to show me like the realness out there. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So divine peace and love, brother.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt. Talk a little bit about your time living there. What was that experience like?
Fast forward to 2009,
Uh-huh.
the College Board in New York was downsizing and moving from New York to Virginia. They
Okay,
asked us if we want to go. And I always kept the job with music. I always kept the job. They asked us if I wanted to go. And I had severance pay and retirement. And it was a lot. Like working there for like 6 years in a corporate office,
uh-huh.
So I took the bread, I paid off like some debt, and then I was like, I just told my family I'm moving for a little while. And I just moved to Tokyo in 2010. At the top of 2010, I just dove in, brought my keyboard, and I was like, yo, I'm just gonna see what I could do. And
Let me know how that whole thing was as far as how did you navigate once you got to Japan?
wow, that's a good one. So I had been to Japan from 2005, '06. I ended up having a girlfriend for a short time from Japan, in '06 to like '08. Then I visited again in '09, and I climbed Mount Fuji that summer with some friends. Um, I can't be MeccaGodzilla and not climb Mount Fuji. You know what I'm saying? I went all the way to the top, y'all.
Really?
And then when I got back to the US, then my job was saying that they're gonna move. And they're like, you could come with us or we just give you the severance. So I was like, yeah, Virginia, nah. Especially with their history of how they treat black folks. Like,
Yeah,
nope.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Shouts to everybody out there in Virginia though, you know what I'm saying, making it happen. AI. We got AI from
Yeah.
Virginia. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yo,
Yeah.
yo,
Oh
love
man.
and light to Allen Iverson, bro.
Right, right.
Um, but 2010 comes around, bro, and I take a leap of faith. And I just am like, I find the apartment. There's a thing called Sakura House. You know, I was searching for apartments and it was like $900 a month to be there. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
I convinced one of my old friends to move with me and just pay for the other room. Then we have a spot. I don't have to worry about sharing with somebody I don't know.
Right.
So I was there for 3 months, you know, as long as I could stay. And getting around, I knew a little bit of Japanese, like enough, you know what I'm saying? So I knew how to ask for directions. Um, and I was just navigating. I literally would just show up to parties. I had severance pay. I definitely had like stacks of bread with me. And I was getting VIP treatment. Shouts to Yuzo from R Rated. Yuzo would invite me to Gold Tuesday all the time in Tokyo, you know what I'm saying? And I would go up there as VIP. The Nitro Microphone, Underground Legends, and more are in VIP.
Mm.
And I'm just learning, kicking it, networking. Like, and in the first week, I got booked to model for this brand called Applebum Tokyo,
Okay.
inspired by Tribe. And
Right.
they're the biggest streetwear brand, the best streetwear brand in Tokyo. And I end up modeling for them and being on all these hype beast websites at home. My face is everywhere modeling. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm not a model. I'm
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But when I'm going out there, it was just so validating. Like, Mecca, you're in the right place. People love your energy. They want to see you and they want to get behind you. So Applebum gave me $5,000+ worth of clothes, bro. I took
nice.
all of my Jamaica Ave stuff and I just put it away, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was I was rocking their stuff. And like I said, just going to parties every week and networking with DJs, producer, MCs, models, and cementing myself in there. I ended up collaborating with Buddha Monkey from Jazzy Sport, and I got on the Sick Team record with Slack, Isugi, and Buddha Monkey. Jazzy Sport is kind of like well Jazzy Sport is like the fusion of jazz and hip hop
Hmm.
label. And they
Okay.
have a shop, a record shop, you know, and it's almost like you blend the roots with Slum Village, a little bit of
Mm.
D'Angelo, Erica, like the Soul
Right,
Quarians.
right, right,
I feel like Jazzy Sport of the Soul Quarians of what Tokyo is, just smaller. But
right.
it's like everybody knows Buddha Monkey. He's like, to me, you know, Buddha is his own style. He lived in LA for a little while, but his vibe to me is almost like he's a Dilla of Tokyo. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
That boy is nasty. And then,
Right.
you know, anyway, sorry, I'm
Well,
bouncing
no,
around
no, no,
too
no.
much.
It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, yeah. I want to know everything, right?
Yeah,
So, what about the music aspect of it? Like, what are you
yeah,
doing while while you're there as far as music? Because, yeah. But so let me ask you a question though. How is it? Because from what I saw, the Japan Times,
mm.
right?
Oh, yeah,
They talk
yeah,
about how your sound is like a mixture or a cross between the RZA and MF Doom.
yeah, that's a fact.
How? Okay, what is it that they're catching whipped of for them to even come up with that?
Dang, it's such a good question. And pardon self, because my life, you know, artists, we're all different.
Mhm.
Everything in my life is these constant layers of different new chapters that are
Yeah,
starting.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, when I was still in New York, I started working on this Ryu Black moniker. I had
Mhm.
left
Yeah, we know this. Yeah.
Monsta Island. I left Monsta Island in like 2008.
Mhm.
'07, '08, like early 2008. And I pivoted. I was like, yo, let me just try something different. Like people don't even know, like I could rap. I featured on some crazy records already in the Monster Island crew, but like people just didn't know. And in my mind, I knew I need to grow and I need to show and prove. So I started thinking about my dojo history, thinking about the lineage of my dad and uncle being the first ever students of Japanese karate in Brooklyn, period, when it came here in the 60s. So
Right.
all of that is in me. And I'm like, how do I present this with everything I just went through in the streets and running around with the old team and where I want to go as a spiritually enlightened being? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I took Ryu from Street Fighter
Yeah.
and I made him black and I told my story as him, and I used the World Warriors of Street Fighter as my international connects from MySpace. I used to use MySpace to find girls in different countries
Yeah.
and ask them about hip hop. So my homies would be here trying to bag chicks in Queens and the X. I'm like, bro, we're always gonna be able, as long as you like do your thing, you're always gonna have access, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
need
yeah.
to do something better. And I knew like it's easier to talk to the women. So used to talk to the sisters all the time, Canada, Taiwan, to find out what's going on. You know what I mean? So long story short, I started writing the Ryu Black album and I wrote it as a hip hop movie, a hip
Mhm.
hop opera, so
Mhm.
that you can listen to it and it's a complete movie. You know what I'm saying? So I'm putting in all of my, um, things that I've learned from suicide prevention to anti-bully stuff, etc. I put it all in this project and I flexed my skill as a writer to kind of finally hit a level and let people know like, nah, like, yes, he's a little brother of
Yeah.
people you know, but
Mhm.
like, nah, his pen game is crazy. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So,
So you
um,
basically use that as like here, like this is my representation of who I am and where I'm at.
yeah, that's my version of my Operation Doomsday. Is
Gotcha.
the perfect 10 means perfect 10, the Japanese character 10 means heaven. Um, and if you think about heaven, the experience would be a perfect 10. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right, right.
that's the project that I made. And I guess to try to like wrap up some of this, I was mixing and mastering that as I'm living in Japan, starting this whole new experience and just gaining more knowledge on the ground as far as what Japanese culture is. And now that I knew that I had these songs done, it made me more confident to start trying to rap in Japanese and collaborate with bigger artists there. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like Buddha Monkey and Slack, Kojo, etc. You know what I mean? So
Gotcha.
I hope that answered the
Yeah, yeah,
question.
yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. But now, one thing you leave, how does, because that project that you just talked about, the Ryu Black, it catches the attention of some people, and somehow Street Fighter 2 is involved. And talk to me a little bit
Yeah.
about that.
So, one of the brothers from Philly, Mega Ran, years prior, did a black Mega Man character called Mega Ran. His name is Random, but he took Mega Man, just
Yeah,
Mega
yeah, yeah.
Ran, and he got co-signed by Capcom to use all their samples, royalty free. So
Wow.
when I conceptualized the Ryu project, again, like leaving the old crew, and
Yeah.
I'm like really in like self-discovery, like how do you rediscover who you are as a man, as a person, when you leave a crew? As a solo person, you got to rediscover. So I'm
Right,
like,
right,
I'm
right.
always a Bushido samurai type of spirit. I'm a martial artist too, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I love Ryu. I hit up Rand. I'm like, bro, I don't want to bite. I literally had this conversation with him. I'm like, bro, you're the Capcom dude. And I was like, I want to do this project using Ryu from Street Fighter. Would you mind if I did it? And would you want to be on the project? You know what I'm saying? He's like, hell yeah, go for it. Then I just fleshed it all out, made this album, got Mega Ran all over it. And then he sends me an email. He's like, bro, Street Fighter is looking for music. He's like, Mecca? send them the Ryu Black music now. And I'm like, yo. So I sent them like 2 or 3 songs from the project, and they picked Satsui no Hado, which is produced by DJ Tomoko. It's a sister I met here. She lived in Brooklyn, but she was in Japan when I moved there. She produced something for me. It's on the album. And I love that because it's not only a co-sign of me, but it's a co-sign of a Japanese woman music producer, which is not common in Japan, period.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
more common now, but back then it was not common.
Right, right,
Uh,
right, right.
a hip hop producer at that. So they put me on their 25th anniversary box set of Street Fighter. And I'm on like, they have like 4 CDs. So I'm on one of the CDs. They got like a Ryu statue, the game itself. It's like a big black box they sent me. And it's like,
Wow.
bro, we played this in the laundromat, the
Right,
pizzeria,
right,
the
right,
deli,
right,
all
right.
the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, 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 yeah. Man, yeah, how did that feel though? Coming from the journey that we've been talking about up until this point, uh, how did that feel when they accepted your music and they presented you with everything that you just mentioned? What did that feel
Yeah.
like for you?
It's always it takes a while when you look back on it. You're like,
Mhm,
oh, but in the moment, it's exciting, but it's like you're still working. You know what I'm saying? As an
mhm,
artist, so sometimes
mhm,
I don't take a breather. You know what I'm saying? But I can't front with that. Like receiving that box set in my hand, bro.
mhm.
Yeah, it made all of like the hard work, the trials and tribulations worth it.
Feel
Cause
like it.
it's like,
Mhm,
regardless of what people are saying, like whether they love me or like they think, what I'm saying, I think I'm too good to be around people, which is not the case. I love people, but I've
mhm,
heard that a few times from haters that like to sit in the bleachers and don't know how
mhm.
to cross over or play on the court. They never do anything, but they always say something,
You always
right?
got right, 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 right.
It you get validated from Capcom, and it's like sky is the limit again. Just tying it into having my parents and Aja, the babysitter's son,
Mhm, mhm.
really, and Rodan as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember facing some stuff with my production, and Ro would be like, yo, do that shit. Do it, do it, do it. And then, like, trying to spit my little raps when we're driving in the car on the way to Brooklyn to go to a show. He's like, let me hear something. Then I spit my little raps. He's like, yo, spit it again. He was like encouraging me to like build this muscle. So Capcom and the Japan times were like the like 2 massive cosigns that I got. Massive, you know what I'm saying? So it made everything worth it.
Well, first of all, congrats on that. That's really
Thank you.
dope. Nice accomplishment. What would you say from your time living in Japan, right? If you had to pick one, maybe 2 things that were key things that you took away from that experience, what would that be?
Wow. Um, this is good, man. So when I was out there, I started to do like a lot of affirmational work, right?
Mhm,
And I realized that in Japan I'm limitless, but in the US, somehow I mentally put this like these shackles on myself when I'm here. And I wasn't throwing my weight around enough in the US. But when I go to Japan, like they ask me who I am. I'm like, yo, I'm an MC and producer. Spit something. I spit something in Japanese, in English. They're like, holy shit, come to the studio. But here in the US, and it would be the like legends in the room there. But in
mhm.
the US, sometimes I'm like really shy. Like I'll see like Big Brother Evil D and I get like shy again. I'm like, yo, he's the God. Like, you know what I mean? So
Right,
I
right, right.
realized like in the US, I hold back a lot. Japan was teaching me to not hold back. And each time I went outside, I was meeting another person that connected me with another opportunity. I'll tell you this super quick story, E. This
Mhm.
is an example. I lived there January to March of 2010. I went back there for a festival December 2010 at the very end of the year. I showed up with $60. It was kind of like a dare. And I had $60 to be there for 5 weeks.
What?
Um nobody. Like, how are you surviving? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I didn't have a place to stay either. So thanks to all the homies that let me crash, I end up doing this festival. This festival is a bust. This Australian cat had Japan Music Week, and it was just a complete promotional bust, right? So
Mhm.
I have all my connects, and I just show up to a party in Ginza to guest. One of my sisters is like, Mecca, I'm singing for a bunch of like influencers. Please come through and just drop a verse in my set. I go there, I drop a verse in the set, and Armani Exchange is there. And they're like, we love what you just did. We have an opening in 2 days in Kobe. We could pay for the bullet train. We don't really have a budget, but we have like $1,200.
Yeah,
Can you rap for 8 minutes and we'll just give you $1,200? You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So I think it's Japan just told me how to show up, taught me more how to show up for myself. And I've been doing that more in New York now.
Okay,
But it took me a while, you know what I'm
that
saying?
was going to be my next question. If you've actually been putting that into practice, here in
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. I
that's
think
good.
I think the other thing too is just reading energy. Um
Mhm,
some of the Japanese folks are very cerebral,
mhm.
like they're very in the mind. They're not so vocal and they're very respectful, expressing themselves to where they may not fully tell you what's in here.
Yeah,
I learned that the Japanese folks that I've met, they're very reserved. There's a
mhm,
lot of humility.
mhm.
There's a lot of verbal respect and courtesy in conversation, but
Okay.
sometimes it'll take a little while to get the realness, the deeper thoughts to come out. Whereas, we go to the X, we go to Long Island,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
go
yeah.
to Brooklyn. People is like, yo, blah blah. You
Right,
know
right,
what I
right,
mean?
right. Yeah, it's
They're
okay.
they're not
Oh,
like that. You know what I mean? So I learned how to read eyes. You know what I'm
okay.
saying? Like if people want to say it's like more of a morphogenetic honing of skill,
Mhm,
like I started to learn energy
mhm.
based on all the unspoken stuff and then how the actions played out in Japan. Then I use that more here at home to use better discernment of who I need to be around,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
not saying nobody in Japan, wronged me, but just learning the nuance of
Learning. Yeah, yeah.
interpersonal behavior that way
Mhm.
allowed me to analyze at home how to discern better who needs to be in my future so that I can continue to elevate like Theophany, the book of
Yes,
elevation, you
yes,
know?
yes, yes, yes. And it's also, I listening to what you're saying, I take it, it's also a way of protecting our space, right? And our aura, and not necessarily allowing someone that might have the wrong vibrations and stuff to interfere and mess yours up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think not everybody, but hopefully you do, as we get older, sometimes we tend to pick up and learn that, like, yeah, I have to be very mindful, because we always come up saying this, right? Our body's our temple. We need to protect it. And I think sometimes we would forget that, like, hey, part of protecting that is not allowing these certain things to be around us. You know what
That's
I
true
mean?
indeed. True indeed.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, sometimes others don't understand that. They think you're being a certain type of way, when it's no. I mean, it is what it is, because not everybody's on that same, not thinking like that. You know what I mean? And listen, man, I have like a little mixture of both of what you were saying, that respectfulness and stuff from Japan, but I still have that Long Island and Manhattan and the boroughs where I'm just like, yo, I don't care. I don't want to be around that period, because it's gonna mess with.
Yeah.
And then I stay respectful.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Um,
Yeah.
there's something else I want to jump in, but just to kind of sum up, as far as the whole experience with Japan and everything, or everything that you've explained and you've taken in and you learned, have you felt that how has that translated for you as far as artistically and creative aspect of things? Do you feel like did it change a lot, compared to how it was? Did it help you elevate to a certain extent?
Yeah, man. when I got out there and you listen to like their gladiators, their
Uh-huh.
monsters, their gods, you're like, yo, they're on some different shit. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? So music producers like Mitsu the Beats, I think he made this song called Beauty or Beast by Komachi. When you hear that beat,
Watch
I
it.
work out to that in the park. I'm like, it is the most disgusting beat. It hits the way the Beat Miners Warzone hits
Mm.
for Buckshot. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
okay.
It's a disgusting beat. This is, again, Beauty or Beast for Komachi by Mitsu the Beats is crazy. Buddha Monkey is another one. So listening to the producer's ear, like their ears, and then listening to the MC patterns, like their syllables are different and their
Mm.
wordplay, like I'm listening to the sound vibration and I'm like, yo, like, I know they saying some shit and they don't even know they saying some shit right now. Like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it sharpened me. The other thing too is they take hip hop so serious. They go to practice, they rent out studio to practice, or they'll make sure to squat up in somebody's crib and go over the routine to make sure they tight. You know what I'm saying? There's
Mm.
no rapping over vocals, there's no forgetting verses.
Mm.
They do not make mistakes. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And even if there are mistakes, you don't really see it. You know what I'm saying?
Because
Like,
they're so on point that it's like they probably caught it, but the
right.
average listener is yeah. Got you, got you.
Yeah, they
Man,
pay
that's
attention to detail, man. I really respect that. So, yeah,
nice,
that got
nice.
me to pay attention a little more detail. Also to incorporate some of um like their style in my style, you know what I
Mm-hmm,
mean? Like, and
mm-hmm,
just knowing that, you know, it's in my genetics from the dojo. I was
mm-hmm.
already Japanese before I got here. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right, right, right.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like the influence is there, you know what I'm
Nice,
saying, from sound and yeah. You know what I
nice,
mean?
nice, nice, nice. I want to ask you, Next Level USA. Uh, Talk a little bit about that. I caught there's two videos that that I checked out,
Yeah.
and I found it really it was inspiring, it was motivating, and there was a lot of different people, right? And in the video, they're all talking about you. They're all giving you your flowers, saying how much you mean to them and their developments and stuff like that. Uh, Talk to me a little bit about that. What exactly is Next Level USA about, and what was that whole experience?
Man, this is a hip hop cultural ambassador exchange program. It's in the lineage of the jazz ambassadors
Okay.
of the US that got sent out to the world to like share jazz.
Hmm.
There's a woman in the US Department of State that advocates for us. Shouts to Jill, and she literally um, helped us to get funding for Next Level. And through the Meridian International Center and the entity of what Next Level is, with our director Junius Brickhouse, who's a legendary dancer,
Hmm.
each year they get like the Marvel superheroes of the US.
Hmm.
People apply, like 400 to 500 people apply. They pick 25 to 30 every year. They break us up into teams of 4 or 5. Oh, sorry, 6, 4 or 5 different teams.
Hmm.
And they send us to different countries that um, are kind of going through it. I don't even want to say disenfranchised,
Okay.
but we go to communities where there's a need
Hmm.
for us to connect with the youth that are already in hip hop culture, and we exchange. We technically have master classes, but the master classes are like a cultural exchange of the elements: DJing, MCing, graffiti, dance, beatboxing, or music production.
Okay.
We do that for 2 weeks. And then at the end, we do a conflict transformation workshop. So we teach them how to not only use hip hop, but um, analysis of social literacy and
Hmm.
also kind of reading the room. We teach them how to use tools to transform conflict. We have an entrepreneurship workshop. So we listen to the challenges of what they're having as far as getting to the next level, pun intended. And then
Hmm.
we try to give them the workaround to get to that level. And then lastly, we have a culminating concert, bringing all the classes together
Okay.
And it's like every single time, it is the illest hip hop concerts you will ever see in your life.
Yeah.
We did a, yeah, we did a sold out stadium in Uzbekistan of 5,000 people on my very first one. You know what I'm saying? Like it was lit, bro. So
That one was
yeah,
where?
Uzbekistan.
That was the first one. Or your
Yes,
first one.
yes, my first one.
Okay, nice. Nice. Yeah, this guy is already listen, man, that there's definitely something aligned correctly with your spirit and your aura and everything because no, I mean, all jokes aside, there's a lot of individuals who spend years and years and years and years trying to figure it out, right?
Mm,
Whether they're an artist and they're trying to get put on, whether they make beat, whatever it is. And sometimes they don't even get that shot, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Unfortunately. And, whatever it is, somehow, some way whether it's being in the right place at the right time, whatever it is, but there's something about you that aligns correctly to put you in these different positions. You know what I mean? Um, because like I said, I know, and I know a lot that man, talent is there, everything is there. The hunger, the talent, everything, but just can't, you know what I mean? You can't get over that hump or something or find the right connection,
yeah.
whatever it is. So that's big, man. That's big. So
Thank
I just want to share that, and I commend you for that. And it just shows it speaks a lot about who you are as a person. You know what I
man.
mean?
Thank
Um,
thank
because I believe in that. I believe things, even though they do say, the good sometimes, it doesn't happen for those that are on the right path. It was harder for them. It always seems like it's the ones that are crazy or whatever, but I don't. I believe that if you have a pure heart and good intentions, that things fall in its place. Um,
oh man,
so
thank you,
shout
bro.
out to you. And so, tell me, man, because like I said, so that was the first one. How many have you done so far?
I did Nepal.
Hmm.
So when the pandemic popped off, 2018 was Uzbekistan.
Hmm.
Then the pandemic popped off. We were supposed to go to Taiwan. That got canceled. Then they asked me to show up as a music producer for Nepal. We did that one virtually. That was lit. When I tell you the final concert, they had like imagine a courtyard in the projects.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, the kids, there had to be at least 500 people. The balconies were full, bro. It looked like the Julius Urban picture
Yeah,
from the record
yeah, yeah, yeah,
tournament.
yeah. With on the fence and hanging all over. Yeah, yeah.
Bro, that concert was crazy. And then last year around this time, I was in Malawi, Africa, and I did one in the long way as a team leader. So I moved from music production to now overseeing like guiding. I'm not going to use the word overseeing. Guiding
Hmm.
the graffiti artist, music producer, MC, and dancer in Malawi. And that was magic, bro. That was
Yeah.
magic, man. Yeah, we're going to Italy. I just got asked 2 weeks ago again to lead a new team going to Italy. So I'm gonna be out there with this young cat named DJ Kev Rock. Ironically, shouts to Dark Mind,
Yeah,
but this
yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
this is a younger
yeah.
god.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
sister named Dorian, JNX, and Doing Me Right, and Kerwin
Ooh, do
from
me.
the Bomb Squad. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like he was down with the Kerwin Young. Like he worked with Public Enemy in the Bomb Squad, and he's a legendary
Yo, dude, you
music.
said do me right?
Yeah, the MC Do Me Right. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a dope brother, man. I had the
yeah.
pleasure of actually interviewing him. Anybody that's checking this out, if you go over to Changing of the Hip Hop Guards on YouTube,
Mm,
you'll find an
mhm.
interview with him, man. Great, great brother. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out to
yeah.
Do Me Right. So every is it a different team every time?
Yes,
It
yes,
is.
yes.
So,
So
uh-huh.
what I love about Next Level is they never put you on the same team. They literally, you don't even know the people that are going to be on your team
Mhm.
until you go to the orientation.
Okay.
And it's like constant hip hop jam style. Like you go there, you in a room of 30 artists, you don't know what team you're gonna be on until the last day.
Oh,
Then they
okay.
tell you, then
Right,
you
right,
go home, you know, and
right.
then you don't hang out because like some of them live in Hawaii, some of them live in LA.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
next time you meet is on the ground in the country that you're gonna be in,
Okay.
and it's a massive hip hop experiment. Not only with the kids from that country,
But the
but with
team.
our team.
Right,
Yes,
right,
it's
right,
like the
right.
illest shit part of my
Yeah,
language
yeah.
ever, because it's the power of hip hop. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. So, but like,
Uh,
who's in charge of putting? So, okay, so like, let's say the one you mentioned about Italy, right?
yeah.
Who puts what's going to happen in Italy? Who puts that together as far as what?
That's a
Yeah.
good one. So prior to our director Junius, he flies around and he scouts potential countries to
Okay.
go to, and then he'll bring it back to the table. Like we'll do these. Qatar is another one that we're going to.
Mm,
Indonesia is another one. They were just in Uruguay, South America. So he scouts and then he'll bring it back to the table. Like we need to do these or consider these. So then it's up to the site manager, me,
mm,
and the others of the other countries. We go on a pre-planning visit for a week and we scout and we just go around all the jams and we just figure out what we want to do in the country that's going to be an enriching experience for the new artists that are going to be teaching the master classes from the US. So to wrap that point, last year there was a bunch that we could do in Malawi. We could go on a safari, we could go to Lake Malawi, but there was a refugee camp there that I
mm.
found out about. And these are kids from the Congo and Mozambique from violence,
Yeah, yeah,
extreme
yeah, yeah, yeah,
violence,
yeah.
that are in Malawi in a little part that's like, you know, a favela style, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they don't necessarily leave a lot. They stay there. So I was like, imagine we bring our squad, we do some of the tourist stuff, but we really go to the refugee camp to spend time with these kids that may never see us. You know what I mean? And they ended up having Salama Africa is the org that I connected with in the camp. They have a dance squad that's collab with Madonna, collab with Alicia Keys. They're like some of the illest self-trained dancers
Okay.
coming from the Congo and some from Mozambique. And we got to do like a 1 day masterclass fusion with them. And Queen Gabby taught them Detroit Jit. They taught her some stuff. Um, Polaris worked with some of the MCs and laid vocals in their music production room. DJ Hopper was in there with the beats, and Nosy, the graffiti artist, was encouraging one of their visual artists, you know, giving them tips and telling them to keep going. You know what I
Right,
mean? So
right, right.
we didn't get to spend like 2 weeks with them, but we spent that 1 day with them. And we invited them to the other part of Malawi. I rented them a bus and got them to come over to meet our kids, you know what I'm saying? And just
Hmm.
kind of intermingle. But stuff like that, when it comes to the planning, that's the job of like the site managers. We need to scout and figure out culturally enriching things that just have to happen and
Hmm.
not the tourist stuff. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right, right, right,
yeah.
right. Have you, or are you able to somehow be in touch with any of the kids that you've, had the pleasure of being around
Mm,
after, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like as far as keeping up, like, oh, this one went on to do this, or are you able
Yeah.
to do, yeah, you able to do that?
That's a good one, 100%.
Wow.
It's humbling because a lot of them all use WhatsApp
Yeah,
more than other social media
yeah,
platforms. So we
yeah.
do talk on WhatsApp. What I love about Next Level, this is the last punchline about
Hmm.
it. After we do this residency, um, Next Level picks 2 artists from every country that we visit
Hmm.
to come back to the US for like 10 days or so. And they go to DC to meet Meridian International Center,
Wow.
some members of the US Department of State, where the grant money comes from, and the director, Junius, of Next Level, and Kane. They do the DC tour of the Capitol. Then they come to New York and they meet like some of the founders of the elements. You know what I'm saying? Like they get to spend time with them. And then Next Level, gives them a grant to do the same work back in their home country. So some of these kids, their rent is like $125 a month
Right.
or $30 a month, they would never ever have the chance to get the funding to do something big, even though they're like the best in their country. So
Mm.
Next Level it gives them grant money to build in their country and like help them, not help them, but
Yeah.
put them in position to springboard on
Right,
their own,
right, right.
you know? So
Wow, that's
yeah.
man, that's crazy. You know, how come that's not talked about more?
Yo, I leave it up to the hip hop journalists, bro. Like, and it's a little bit of shots fired, but hip hop, like rap culture gets talked about the most. Hip hop does not get talked about a lot.
Mhm.
The women of rap, the women in hip hop, the painters, the writers, the dancers, the DJs, the beat makers, the beatboxers,
Mhm.
and then all of us, you know, as men that are doing the same thing, and not to exclude the others, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
gender fluid.
Mhm.
There's people doing tremendous work globally, you know what I'm saying? And it's like journalists, you've been writing about rap music for a very long time.
Right, right,
And
right.
our circles cross all the time. You gotta like tell the story of hip hop, please. Like it's
It's,
we're doing it.
it's
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. I don't know what it is because even here in the States, and I've always I don't know what it I mean, that's like a whole nother conversation, you know, too deep into that, but it's very I find it really and I'm just gonna say this, but I always found it sort of strange, and I kinda know why, but
mm,
you can't have one side talking about hip hop, and preserving hip hop and this and that, but then you don't acknowledge or you don't exchange with those that are actually doing groundwork, grassroots work.
yeah,
What you know that maybe they aren't as big as this or whatever, but you know I never understood that. You know,
yeah.
it's that's like I said, that's a whole other conversation that maybe we can one day put a little something together and talk
Yeah,
a little bit more about. But anyway, on basically to end that part is, you know, thank you for doing this work that you do.
yeah,
Because it means a lot. And I'm sure all of those kids that you guys are touching, man, that's I mean, think about it. Us here, like it's like, you know, it's like me growing up listening to Slick Rick or this one or that one, and I get to see him right there. Like that's huge for me. Imagine like for kids that don't even think they'll even get to see, let alone an artist or
yeah,
just somebody from outside of where they are.
yeah.
So you know, thank you and the team and everybody. If somebody wanted to get involved
Mm,
somehow, whether it's to help and you know anything, I don't know what they can do. Is there a way, like if somebody's interested that might be seeing this and say, man, how can I help out with that organization
mm.
group? Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, man. Since I'm kind of like a level up the ladder, you can hit me up, and I could pass the message along,
Mhm,
you know, to Meridian and Junius and Kane, at Next Level.
mhm,
So yeah, like, maybe, on my Instagram profile, like when you list that later,
mhm.
uh, y'all see my email, just email me and I can forward the emails. We used to have a website up, um the climate, the
Mhm.
social political climate. We don't have the website up right now.
Okay.
It's being like edited. So normally I would send people to the website, but
Okay.
the website just got to get edited.
Updated and fixed up.
So for
Mhm.
now, you could just hit up my profile and I'll pass the messages along,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, you know, maybe like artists or graph writers, dancers that maybe see this and say, man,
Oh,
I would love to,
oh
whatever
yeah.
it is,
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like I said, I don't know
yeah.
what they can do, but whether it's donate time or, you know,
Mm.
whatever it is, hit up Mecca, man, you know,
Yeah,
and
please.
help out with the cause. Uh Mecca,
Yeah.
man, there's so much to talk about with you, man. But let's talk a little bit now to wrap things up as far as about your music, your actual music. You have a long list of things that you've done. But I was very but one thing, aside from projects that you've done and features and collaborations, whether it was emceeing or producing, uh, something that I saw, you said you haven't really put out a lot of your own like albums or projects. Why?
I think rap albums, I'll say, but I do put out a lot of instrumentals. Like I like to paint with sounds. So sometimes wherever I'm at in life, sometimes the words, like human language is just too complicated to express spiritual expression. Like English, like imagine like the multi-dimensional divine shows up, God, right? And we're like, speak English. He's like, nigga, what? Like, you know what I mean? Part of some most high. You know what I mean? Like, so that's sometimes how I feel. Like, I need to put this in English when it's a vibration. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm just gonna paint. So like I use music that way. I got I think to date like 15 projects, one rap album. I got a mixtape, an OG mixtape that's hard to get with Billy Woods. And it's MeccaGodzilla versus 007. It's this crazy mixtape that got us both kind of hot at the time. But everything else I was doing what Pete Rock was doing with Pete instrumentals on some of them. I would put like one rap song at the end of some of them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I don't have many rap albums out there. I do have a project with Simeon called Strong Island Monsters. His crew, Simeon is Selwyn Hahn's little brother. Sel is doing his thing, making films, and he's a former editor of The Source. And Sim is from the Last Straws in the 90s. Sim is already a cemented 90s artist. You know what I mean? So Sim's camp was Monster Camp, and my camp at the time, I was in Monsta Island. So we're like, let's do Strong Island Monsters because we both rep Freeport and Brooklyn as well. You know what I'm saying? So so on that project, we got Prince Poe, Chase Infinite, Guilty's on there, Curious is on there. We got a banger for next year. And then I got my solo joint that's got like Rodan on it. Spiga, Kong, you know.
You have a joint? Wait, hold on. You want you want to let that out, or do we not put that? You want to let people know, or you want to let that be a surprise?
So right now I got Mez from formerly of Monsta Island. Mez, oh man, our stories are crazy, bro. And pardon the segue, but I gotta say it. One of the youngest members of the crew back then was this half Japanese white kid from Uptown. And he was one of the illest MCs. He was like a street kid and never graduated school, was always in the streets around the kids from Amsterdam projects, just running around, and he could rap his ass off. And I remember he left the crew and then he's like, Mecca, I'm mixing for this kid from North Carolina. And I'm like, Mez, you like one of the illest MCs. What are you talking about? We knew he can mix, but it's like, bro, rap. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's like, nah, trust me. He's going to be nice. So they put out these mixtapes, blah, blah, blah. I didn't like any of them. They, Friday Night Lights, part of self, y'all. Don't, you got to understand. Then little by little, I'm hearing the growth. They get the deal with The Rock. They get signed. And I gotta honestly say, I didn't feel the MC at all. I felt like the MC was trying to make radio music. You know what I'm saying? They finally dropped 2014 Forest Hill Drive. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, bro, I finally, and I could be late to the party. I'm an underground head. Yo, J. Cole, when he dropped 2014 Forest Hill Drive, I was like, I get it, finally. And I've been a massive supporter since, because I felt like it was one of the most authentic. He just didn't, like, I can't speak for the man, but it just felt like he wasn't trying for the radio. He was doing it, and it was, and Mez mixed all of that, most of it, you know what I'm saying? So I hit up Mez, and I need help mixing this joint with Rodan Ray Long Spiga called Flood the Gates. I need his touch. Sometimes I need Mez for certain things,
Yeah,
and I'll
yeah.
hit him up. So Mez is mixing that for me right now, and that's gonna be the next single that's dropping ASAP. Like between now and January is gonna drop. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. I'm not playing. And then
Well,
dropping my singles for my solo album, and then and prepping this album with Simeon that's got all the other heavyweights on it. Is gonna be a nice little 1-2 punch for 2026. You know what I mean? In addition to all the other stuff, you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Nice, nice, nice.
shouts to my brother Onyx, man. Onyx and I got something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not gonna that going. Is that a whole project? Is that like a whole?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a whole project.
Yeah, it's called Syntax Errors. And yeah, it's gonna be a MeccaGodzilla solo joint. Yeah,
Nice, nice, nice,
yeah,
nice. Okay.
yeah.
Well, Mecca, is there anything that we haven't touched that you would like to make mention of? Let people know anything that might have even slipped through my cracks that
Uh
that
yeah.
you definitely would want to make mention to, or do you think we hit it everything?
I think we touched all points. I think I guess it's just like artists and supporters is like remembering that we're multidimensional, you know? So like you might see somebody that in your mind they can only rap, but it's like just dig a little deeper with people that you admire and love and just understand not everybody is gonna just be one thing. Like sometimes elders would be like, you gotta choose one thing to be great at it. And like you're doing too much. But like some of us, that's the way we function. We have to do multi. And why wouldn't I? I got this human body, this one go around. Why wouldn't I want to do it all? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, and try to experience it all. I don't want to be in a box, you know? So I just encourage everybody with the time you got left, do it all. And just be respectful when you're going in and out of rooms. Don't do it all and be disruptive. You know what I'm saying? Cause like karmic debt is a real thing. You know what I mean? Just do it all and be kind of respectful. Be you. And if you are disruptive, just understand karma is a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You just made me think of Khan for a second, though.
yeah.
Yeah, shout out. Man, Mecca, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Before we do wrap it up, if you could do me a favor, let everybody know where they can keep up with you at, or your, social media, your website, um, music wise, everything.
Thank you, E. So my handle on social media is Instagram.com, X.com, etc. MeccaGodzilla, Mecca Godzilla all together. On YouTube, it's Manifest Vision. I think maybe we could put that in the comments later.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
then my website is MeccaGodzilla.com. That's primarily where social media is one thing, and I'm just like, I just kind of want to bring people to my website.
Mhm.
It's an old school way of doing things, but like MeccaGodzilla.com is where you'll find everything. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That's the home. That's the home. Mecca, like I said, once again, thank you for everything you've done and are doing and everything that's going to be coming in the near future. If nobody ever says it, I'm going to say it, man. I really appreciate it. And on behalf of all of us, like myself, that love the culture, not just the music or the dance alone and this and that, but the actual culture. And what I mean by that is, I've always felt that hip hop is something that brings people together, right? And helps elevate people.
Mm,
Especially the young ones that are coming up. They always say, "Oh, the hip hop is for the young people, this and that," but you need the elders and the ones that have been there and have gone through different things in life to be able to bring those young ones up. And I commend
mm,
you and the team and everybody else that's doing the work that you do with these other different groups and organizations, aside from what you do on your own. You know what I mean, with the music and
wow.
stuff like that. So thank you. Thank you to your parents because they did a hell of a job. You know what I mean? I know that wasn't easy coming up in the times that you guys came up in, but shout out to your parents as well. And yeah, man, just keep doing what you do, man. It's. I'm sure that there's times where you might feel like, man, I'm doing so much and all of this, and who's seeing it? Is it worth it? Is it? It is, man. It is. At the end of
Oh
the
man.
day, it's definitely worth it, and we see you. So thank you.
Oh man, E, thank you so much. Am I allowed to give some shout outs
Of
real
course,
fast?
man. Anything you want to say, shout out whoever
Yeah.
you want to shout out. Platform's
First
yours.
and foremost, shout out to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I really, man, I appreciate you giving artists like us a voice, man. Seriously, E, thank you for this.
Okay.
Then to, my big brothers, Rodan, Onyx, Megalon, Monsta X, Jiro, who's Mez, Azar, and then just rest in peace to Majesty, Doom, Kong, Spiga, X-Ray, and June Classic, and just long live everyone, man. It's love and light, man. Let's enjoy these days that we have left, and let's amplify. Period. You know what I'm saying? It's tough, my brothers. Yeah, I lost a lot of brothers, man, but it inspires me to keep going, man. And this opportunity just reminds me that, you know, I just appreciate any chance I get to share, man.
Mhm.
So thank you, bro. Thank you.
Nah, no question, man. And please, everybody that's watching this, make sure you go to his website, MeccaGodzilla,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
There's a lot of good stuff on there besides his music and merch and stuff like that, but you got to check out his blogs. He has these, again, thank you for the write-ups and everything that you did. The one on Kong, you did one on Doom, and there's others on there. If you want to get to hear some great stories and a little in depth as far as some of these brothers, please go check out MeccaGodzilla.com and read everything that's on there. It's a very good read. And you mentioned something about journalists earlier, and sometimes I do miss, right, when you just sit
Yeah.
down and write and just take time to write as opposed to just making these quick videos or this and that and talk. Um, Thank you. Thank you. It's a good
Yeah,
read.
man.
Make sure MeccaGodzilla.com. Everybody go check that out. Once again, thank you. Much success, everything, and keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, let's do this again, after you got some other things going on, and we'll connect again and catch up. But for the time being, thank you to everybody that tuned in. Once again, this is Nsway 73 TV. Like I say, the TV doesn't stand just for television. It's not for television. It's for talent and vision. We covered all of that with this gentleman tonight. Definitely talked about his talent, the vision. Forget it. It's out of this world, man. He definitely knows what he's doing and where he's going. So thank you, Nsway 73 TV. Tune in, hit that subscribe, hit the like, leave a comment, whether it's good or bad. Like I said earlier, I appreciate you taking the time to do so. Until the next one, peace.
Peace.